Good morning, my great accomplice. So happy to have you here. You look beautiful this morning. I know you were saying earlier how excited you were that you can wear a jacket because it's a little cooler, which is very nice. So thrilled to have you here and wondering if you would like to open us with some music this morning.
I would be delighted to. This is just a nice deep song from Janice Stanfield. I hope you enjoy it. Two people kiss goodbye outside a college dorm, where one will stay while one drives home, and the emptiness weighs them down. Time for letting go, but they don't know how. When we stand between the no longer and the not yet, sometimes we falter when we forget that the answers we can't see wait patiently between the no longer and the not yet, between the no longer and the not yet. Moving out of the safety zone, moving in to the great unknown. Will I find my way, find my place? Will the life I seek know my face? When we stand between the no longer and the not yet, sometimes we falter and we forget that the answers we can't see wait patiently between the no longer and the not yet, between the no longer and the not yet. I am not caught between, I am not trapped between, I am not running, I am standing between the no longer and the not yet. Sometimes we falter and we forget that the answers we can't see wait patiently between the no longer and the not yet, between the no longer and the not yet, between the no longer and the not yet.
What a beautiful song. I have a feeling we should have been listening to this since March, right? It's been kind of an interesting ride, hasn't it? Since March. Life has changed and been different than we expect, and that's what we want to talk about this morning. So I want to welcome you to Unity Spiritual Center in the Rockies. Thank you for spending your morning with us. We've been working all month on this theme of harvesting inner peace. What gets in the way of our being at peace? How do we bring more of that into our lives? We're moving into the harvest season. How do we bring more of that into our lives? And so I wanted to take some time to talk about this with you this morning because expectation is a really interesting thing. So I'm going to put my screen here real quick into gallery view so that I can see all your lovely faces. And I want you to raise your hand if you would like to win the lottery. Most of you have your hand up. A couple of you are like, do I put my hand up or do I not? Would you like to win the lottery? I would love to win the lottery. Are you kidding me? I could do all kinds of things if I won the lottery. Now, while you're looking at each other's faces, raise your hand if you recently bought a ticket. Gosh, I don't see a single hand so far. That's interesting. Oh, there's one. Beth bought one. A couple of you. Okay, a couple of you bought them. So this question is for all of you who didn't. Why didn't you buy a ticket? Probably because you didn't expect to win, right? So your expectation that you won't win if you bought a ticket gives you a perfect outcome, doesn't it? It feeds your expectation. The expectation that you won't win causes you an action. The action is don't buy a ticket. What happens then? You don't win. You can't win. You have perfectly played out your expectation. So I want to talk to you about your expectations this morning. And an expectation simply is our way of believing that something will happen. It's our belief that something in the future will happen. And it's generally based on an experience that we've had in the past. So the first thing I want you to notice about your expectation is that your expectation is a past event connecting with a future outcome. And in between there is a step called action. In order to get from your expectation to an outcome, there is a requirement for an action. Most of the time in our life, when it comes to the basic things that we do or don't do, they are based on our expectations of an outcome. They can be based on expectations of an outcome that we haven't even given much consideration to. So if somebody says to you, I need to have an appointment with you Friday at 5 o'clock to talk to you about something for work. Is your expectation that that's going to be a good conversation? Or is your expectation, oh my gosh, it's Friday at 5 o'clock, the end of the day. That's when they let people go. That's when people get fired. Friday, end of the day, right? So if you have that expectation, how will you go into the meeting? You will go into the meeting nervous, maybe a little defensive. You might have some idea of something you've done that could be grounds for losing your job. But you will go in a particular state of mind, prepared for that possible outcome, won't you? What if The reason for the meeting is to tell you that someone else is leaving and to offer you a job before they put it on the market on Monday. You have no idea what is really happening in the future. We have certain things that we come to expect. We expect that the sun will set at night and that when we get up in the morning, that the sun will have risen again or will be rising. We can watch the sunrise. We expect that because we've seen it every single day of our life. Is it guaranteed? Boy, we sure hope so, don't we? Because if the sun doesn't rise, something is really not in line. We have a different problem, don't we? We use our expectations to make ourselves feel safe. Because the reality is, someday our sun will change. Something will happen in our universe based on what we've seen so far. We are not likely to be alive for that event. But someday, the sun might not rise quite the same. If you knew that, if you knew that the things that you count on the most might change, how would you change your life? How differently would you live? If every day wasn't guaranteed, if every sunrise wasn't guaranteed, how differently would we all live? Right now, because we're going through so much in our society, it's important for us to consider our expectations. I have listened to political rhetoric that's about whether or not we're going to, no matter who wins or what happens in our election, whether or not we're going to end up in a civil war. Is that really an expectation we want to put forward? Is that really what we want to expect? How will it change our behavior if that is our expectation? It's an important question. As we go through changes in race relations and how we deal with one another, how we create the world that we want, what is our expectation around that? Is our expectation that our desire to create a deeper sense of equality is going to create that equality or crumble our society, be detrimental to who we are because of the processes? This is not a question for you of right or wrong, who should do what to who. This is a question of what you are allowing yourself to expect. Because in your expectation, you are moving yourself toward an action. And that action will have an outcome. So if someone says to you, Mom, Dad, brother, Grandma, I really want a guitar for Christmas. I know you're not going to get it for me. And I'm just aware it's not coming. But I thought I should tell you what I'm thinking, what I want. What happens when somebody tells you what they want? Just notice in yourself. For me, there's a desire to fill the want. For me, if you really don't believe I'm going to do that for you, I'm going to try so hard to do it for you. Because I want you to have that experience of knowing that something you want can come into being. There's a particular feeling to want, isn't there? So expectation and want are two ends of a spectrum. The expectation end and the want end are directly opposed to each other often in our lives. There's a point of stress between those two things. So when we ask ourselves, why does expectation stop us from getting what we want? We have to go roll back and say, oh yeah, my expectation stopped me from buying the lottery ticket. My expectation caused me to enter a meeting with a certain frame of reference that colored where I was, colored how I spoke. Expectation is a great thing for creating an idea of safety. It's a really great thing. On the very human level, one to the other, we place expectations on each other. How's your mind reading? Raise your hand if your mind reading is good. I got to put it on the screen so I can see you. A couple of you are like, maybe a little bit. Maybe I'm a little bit okay with mind reading. The thing about expectation is we don't tell each other what we're expecting. In our relationships with one another, we have an expectation of how the people we love will respond. If I buy too many of those things, my husband's going to be upset with me. Oh, he's going to go car shopping. He's going to buy one of those. They stop us from having conversations. Gee, honey, you're going to go car shopping. You know, I'm really feeling a blue car this year. They stop us from having conversations with one another. We spend time with each other. And over the years, we begin to believe that we know each other and we can anticipate how the other person we're in relationship with, partner, friend, neighbor, coworker, child, anyone, we anticipate how they will respond based on our expectation, not based on what is important to them, but based on what we believe we know about the people around us. And from that place, we cheat ourselves out of the discovery that brought us passion in our relationships. How fun is it to meet someone new? To see how someone has changed? All of us are different every single day. If you think you know everything about your partner, that assumes that your partner has not changed one iota. But I know that your partner has changed because I know that you have changed, because I know that our world has changed. Our world has changed dramatically in just the past few months. So this is a time to ask ourselves, what is expectation? How do I use it? And when is it valuable? There is a time when expectation is valuable. When we create an affirmative statement about our expectation from spirit. So if I say, I release all expectation and open up to the abundant gifts of spirit, should I expect to see the abundant gifts of spirit? That is an interactive question. Yes? Now everybody nod your head. Yes. Yes. If I open up and say, I release all expectation that blocks me from seeing, and I open myself to receive the abundant gifts of spirit, I can faithfully expect to see something more coming my way. Notice that those words don't limit what spirit can provide. I'm not limiting what the abundant gifts of spirit are. It's really important to notice how we use our affirmations, what we put into expectation. And when we're disappointed because our expectation was not met. So many of us had expectations in the spring. We had expectations that every Sunday we'd be able to be in the same building. We had expectations that we could continue to go to the grocery store and go out to eat at the places we love to eat. And maybe we were even expecting to go somewhere fancy and unusual or exotic for the summer, to have some great vacation and gather with friends and do things differently than we've been able to. We had an expectation. We probably had many expectations. We can still open to something abundant. So I want to invite you to close your eyes for a moment, to just take a breath and settle into this moment, calling yourself fully present, releasing anything in your mind that isn't needed right now, just being, not doing. To breathe into this place that we're in right this moment. And I want you to visit your heart space and ask yourself, in the next week, how would you like to feel? How would you like to feel? Not what would you like to do, but how would you like to feel? Perhaps you'd like to feel healthy. Perhaps you'd like to feel energetic. Perhaps you would like to feel loving. Perhaps you would like to feel kind or appreciated. There are a lot of different words that you could use. Choose one. Now, in this moment, imagine yourself feeling that one emotion. Just let that emotion come in and fill your heart. Allow your body to feel strong. Allow your mind to feel clear. Allow the gift of love to flow through you. In this moment, feel what it is you want to feel. Now, as you are feeling it, ask your inner guidance, what can I do for myself this week that will help me to feel this way? What can I do for myself this week that will help me to feel this way? Take a deep breath in, release. Gently open your eyes and raise your hand if you thought of something you can do for yourself this week. So several of you. My feeling is that most of you could find that if you had the time. If you gave yourself, that was a very short exercise. If you gave yourself the time to simply ask your inner guidance, your indwelling divine, how can I achieve this feeling? The difference between expectation and want is feeling. So expectation is a thought based on an experience. It tells you what you can, what is going to happen going forward by your best guess. To want something is a feeling. There is a desire behind it. So when we catch ourselves in a place of expectation that maybe doesn't serve us well, oh, it's the holidays, that's always a bad thing. Oh, we're in the middle of an election, the stock market's going to crash. Oh, we're in whatever it is. What are you saying out loud? What is coming out of your mouth to other people that is really not what you want? What are you speaking as your expectation? What are you thinking as your expectation of the future? Ask yourself, what do you want? Expectation that takes you into a dark place gets followed by action that affirms that. You will naturally respond to what you're expecting to happen. What would happen if we were driven differently? If we considered what we wanted and asked ourselves what we could do toward that end? What if we kept doing what we could do to accomplish what we want? It would change things for us, wouldn't it? So many times I talk to people about changing their lives. How can I change this? I have no idea how to change this. How we change this is by allowing ourselves to get clear about what we want to create. Noticing how it feels in our body, to imagine ourselves into that place, and then following actions that take us there. There's a point of being patient with one another. There's a point of being patient with ourselves. Okay, I don't know yet. I know how I want to feel. I can imagine that. Not quite sure yet how I'm going to feel that way. Stay with the want and away from the expectation. Pulling the past into the future only recreates the past. It doesn't open you to receive something from spirit that you could not have imagined. It doesn't allow the possibility for life and love to appear in miraculous ways. In fact, you may talk yourself out of the possibility, the same way you talked yourself out of buying a lottery ticket, because it's not going to happen anyway. Is there a possibility of disappointment? Everybody nod your head. Yes, there is a possibility of disappointment. How many of you have died from disappointment? We're not going to die if we get disappointed. It's not the end of the world. Life comes with disappointing moments. They are moments. They are not forevers. We have moments of disappointment when something doesn't quite unfold the way we wanted it to. So let me ask you, would you like to stay in the feeling of happiness until you have a couple minutes of disappointment? Or would you like to just expect the disappointment for months? Which of those is going to serve you better? Right. Let's expect the best. Let's ask ourselves what it is that we really feel, that we really want. And let's allow ourselves, especially right now, to understand that there is an opening for something new. That what we are experiencing opens us deeply for a changed world. And let's expect that change to bring forth something wonderful, something beneficial. Let's expect it to be good. Some of you have read Mindy Odlin's book about how we use our what if, how we what if up instead of what if down. What if this is the perfect opportunity for the world to become more peaceful? What if we're learning how to separate ourselves from all the rhetoric and garbage that we can't change so that we can put our focus on changing ourselves? What if this is all about us? Each and every one of us opening our heart to a new possibility, thinking about how it might feel feeling about how it might feel, and then acting into how we want to feel. It's a lot of possibility. It's a lot of there's a place in this for allowing yourself to receive. We're pretty good at giving to one another, giving to the people that we love, giving to our animals, giving to the world. We're pretty good about giving. We're not necessarily great at receiving. How would it feel if the universe were giving you what you want to feel right now? The opening for joy, the opening for love, the opening for peace, for equality, for abundance, the opening for an interconnected world where the oneness flows between all of us and we understand, we really understand who we are. I want to invite you into that possibility. I want to invite you to close your eyes, take a moment in silence, and consider how you want to feel. From this place of feeling, repeat these words. I release all expectation, and I open myself to the abundant gifts of the universe. I release all expectation, and I open myself to the abundant gifts of the universe. We'll say it as a full sentence. I release all expectation and open myself to the abundant gifts of the universe. Take a deep breath in. Release. And enjoy the music.
can't remember exactly what Alleluia means, but for me, it's a cross between amen and so it is and thank you. It's kind of all of that rolled into one. So, I like to get a little rambunctious with it just because it's important. And enjoy this song. It's a sweet little song by Jan Garrett, and it's asking what if these questions. What if you knew that you were beautiful? What if your smile was wild and free? What if you knew that you could take your time and everything would work out fine? What a wonderful, wonderful world this would be. What if every step of the journey was just as sweet as the final prize? What if you lost the map but you found the key? What if your life was so much fun you didn't need to try to get it all done? What a wonderful, wonderful world this could be. So give it a season without a doubt. Give it a reason to all work out. Give it a chance, give it some time, give it your best. Give it a rest. What if the great big picture suddenly dawned on everybody bright and clear? What if we gave ourselves a break and let our differences be? If we could just sit still a minute, enjoy the human race and not have to win it. What a wonderful, wonderful world this could be. Don't you agree? What a wonderful, wonderful world this could be. Trombone solo. Dibbidi-da-da-dee-doo-doo-doo-ee. Ba-dee-dee-da-doo-you now. Ba-da-dum-ba-da-dum-ba-da-dum-bow. Zabby-zibba-doo-ba-dee-ya-dow. Zabba-dee-doo. Ba-dee-dee-doo now. Ba-da-da-da-dum-da-da-da-dum. Ba-ba-doo-ya-doo. What if every step of this journey was just as sweet as the final prize? What if you lost the map